democracy that gives girth to growth and ensure that nobody is isolated from the process and fruits of development.
Vitanda is, whatever you say, that is wrong. And if the other person asks, but what is your standpoint? I don't have any standpoint. So this person said, okay, I agree with you. He said, that will not help. I have changed my mind. Just because you say, therefore it is wrong. That cannot be called dissent and all that.
अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी होनी चाहिए। इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री होने के बावजूद भी आप नरेंद्र भाई के खिलाफ कुछ भी कह सकते हैं। देश के किसी के नेता के खिलाफ भी कुछ भी कह सकते हैं। सरकार की नीतियों की कड़ी से कड़ी आलोचना कर सकते हैं। कोई विरोध नहीं है। देश का विरोध नहीं होना चाहिए। ये दोनों का अंतर हमने समझना पड़ेगा।
Different ideas, different concept, philosophy and logic which filled my brain. All these come from India.
By and large, most countries in the world, including major countries, see India as a positive net provider of security in our region and beyond. And that is the context in which we can make our effort of India Defense at 70.
Perhaps because of the history of our birth as a republic, because we had partition, it may have been necessary to exercise more central control. But to have remote control of the needs of a village from 1,000 miles away doesn't work.
We are not the rulers. We are rather the custodians or trustees for the betterment or welfare of the people.
I think time has come to create a situation where every citizen of India can access equitable share of development.
It is the power of balance, not the balance of power. And it is this power of balance that enables us today to have the best of relations with what are conventionally seen as, competing binaries.
In summary, I argue that if India is to assume a role as a leader in international affairs, it must become more deeply interactive with those of other countries.
Dissent, but if I disagree with that dissent, then you put me as intolerant. So this is the problem.
मार काट को, बेकसूर लोगों के मारे जाने को, जिसको ये जिहाद कहते हैं, ये जिहाद नहीं है बल्कि फसाद है। Education has got two components: creation of knowledge, dissemination of knowledge. And I think that creation of knowledge has not happened because you don't have public funding. We need money for research, and that can come only through government grants.
for disagreement is dying out when you are seen always in black or white terms. So it's not an issue of dissent. Dissent is exceptional. It's an issue of debate with more and more and more and more facts and a clinical interpretation and judgment over fact.
Dissent at 70 in India means my dissent is better than your dissent.
The ultimate dream is that Kashmir is an integral part of India and that we are able to convince them in peaceful and dignified coexistence without the remotest hint of any operational institution or installations out there to control them. That would not only be a victory for Kashmiris, but the concept of India and Indianness.
The crux of the matter is that departments and ministries are created not on economic or administrative logic, but political accommodation. Such is the multiplicity that if one wants to improve sports facilities for women in rural areas, it is not one, but 7 ministries you'll have to deal with. How can you ever get anything done if this is the complex procedure you have to go through?
The world is constantly vigilant that no one hurts the sentiments of those who are opposed to human rights and women's rights.
Ram Madhavji, I've never in my life, never ever, I've listened to so many people with so much patience. It is the first time in my entire existence that I've listened to a panel discussion and not spoken a word. It's a magical experience. India Foundation, thank you. But a protest is not a protest unless it's loud. It has to be 8-column, front page, not page 7, single column. Taslima Nasreen attacked with bricks and stones at a book release function cannot be a whimper in our media. And that is why I dissent. I dissent against the media.
Ideas are the fuel of this government, and we are taking ideas on board without a hesitation as to where this has come from.
They brought in a certain Marxist perspective on it, and they aimed at essentially the deconstruction of India and the deconstruction of the idea of India. And it continues today, where it's reached the point where they even say there was no India at all.
The mainstream media is alert to the fact that you can continue to manufacture controversies and will keep reacting to those controversies, and then that spikes your sales. It helps you with your bottom line. That's what you're alert to. You're not alert to the truth.
If you want to take on mainstream media, social media has to build up its own credibility. You cannot put out stuff that cannot be backed up.
Chaki to Subhash Chandra Bose gave blood for my freedom, and I am a moron in 2016 hearing somebody else saying patriotism is the last refuge of scoundrel. Think about it. I want to dissent against this kind of history.
And my request is, let us keep engaged, even after this 3 days discussion. It is not something which is a one-off event. We'll come back again with the next year with a different theme. But what has been discussed this time, we'd like to take it to the logical conclusion at different levels.
मटर गश्ती खुली सड़क में तगड़ी तड़क भड़क में ओले गिरे सुलगते से सड़क में छतरी न थी बगल में आया ही ना अकल में के भागे हम या भीगे हम अकड़ में तो सोचा फिर गीला हुआ है जो सुखाना हो चाहे जनाना या मर्दाना